I actually have a couple significant stories to go along with the topic of fireworks, which is today's Life Scout badge, which is pretty obvious. So, a bit redundant to say that. That's my phone. Chronological. So we're going to start in chronological order with these stories. I have three of them to share. So the first story is that my brother and I were visiting my dad one time, and basically he just decided that, let's go get some fireworks, because I believe it's in Wisconsin that fireworks are legal all year round. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we took a trip up there and bought like $100 worth of them, and there was just a huge fucking warehouse out in the middle of nowhere. We just went through, and we just collected like all these different ones, and then we drove all the way back, and then we just decided to light them off. So we had like bumblebees and like tanks. We had like the flare like gun things. My dad shot himself with one of those, so that was really funny because he didn't know like which way he was gonna shoot out of or some shit, and somehow he just ended up shooting himself like twice with it. It was really funny though. And then we had the bees, and the bees were really fun because we had never really done this before. We would just like stick them on something and then launch off. But my brother and I, or at least I think it was my dad and I, got the brilliant idea like, well, let's light the bees, wait a bit, and then throw them, and then watch them, zip around. Because normally, like with bees, I don't know how most people do it, but we would like set them on something and light them, and then like maybe they would flip up, or it was just really not always the greatest result. So we decided to do that, and most of the time, probably like 9 out of 10 times, like it looked really cool. Another thing we tried doing, I don't know if it was this time, because my father and I always got together and lit fireworks off together all the time. We like battled tanks against each other, so that was cool. Yeah, so it was a really awesome time. There was another time with my dad that it was just me and him, and we were down this really long. If you've ever seen Lord of the Rings, there's a scene where Frodo looks down the road, and there's that, the trees arch, and it just is super long. So imagine that, but you and your dad, or mom, whoever, just lighting fireworks off down it. So instead of being like, really scary, it's actually like really peaceful. It was really cool. So that was like probably my most memorable memory, sort of. It's really vague, but I just remember doing it. The second memory that I have was actually with me, my brother's friend, I believe, and my girlfriend at the time. And we were launching off fireworks. I was like supervising it because like nobody was home. And basically I ended up burning my thumb on a fucking like Roman candle. Because I couldn't get the thing to light, and then it lit, and then it went and then just burned the shit on my thumb. And I was just like pissy like the rest of the fucking night basically because I was just in a shit ton of pain. So be careful lighting those goddamn Roman candles, because they could be a fucking bitch. And the third most memorable time was when, just recently, my friend Martin Sakon came and visited me. And, not on his most recent trip, but the first time that I saw him since moving out here, he came out, and, where he's from in New Jersey, I guess fireworks are outlawed all year round. So he had never once ever lit off a firework. So it was really cool to share that moment with him. Like, it's weird because I've grown up lighting fireworks off all the time, whether it was in season or not in season. I would just light them off all the time with my dad or even friends. So it was really weird that to meet somebody who had never done it once. So it was cool because we made like a big day out of it, my family and I. It was really cool because we had like a handful of like different kinds of fireworks, and we lit them off, and we got to see Marty's reaction to all these things that he'd never seen before. And it was so weird because, again, when you grow up in a state that you can always have fireworks, you know the names of all these things like Roman candles, bumblebees, tanks, jets, those little popper things, jaguars, snakes, or the black mambas, you know the title, bottle rockets or whatever. Like, you know these names and you know what they do, and like even the variations of those names too. And so to meet somebody who doesn't even know that at all, like you'll say like a black mamba or a snake, and be like, "What's that?" Or you'll say a Roman candle and be like, what's that? Or, so you say these things, and it's a really interesting experience. It's like having somebody who's almost from like another country, I guess I would say, in some weird way. It's weird, but it was really fun like experience. So that's probably why it's one of my most memorable times, because to see, a really good friend of yours have, like this really innocent joy and, experiencing something for the first time, and you get to be there to witness that and share that moment with them is really special. So,